a world championship. The gold medal.
Welcome back into the Stark Arena for the 2023 World Championships. It's day 4. I'm Eric Olenowski, your host, joined alongside the Olympic champion, the Olympic gold medalist, Erica Wiebe herself. Tonight we're going to talk about the move of the day, the match of the day, and review the finalists at women's wrestling 55 and 59, and we'll close out freestyle at 65 and 97 kilos. We've done this a few times now, Erica, but quickly, let's run through the Olympic qualification process. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, at the Olympic weight classes in men's freestyle, women's freestyle, and Greco-Roman wrestling, the 5 medalists, that's the ones who win gold, silver, and the 2 bronzes, will qualify for Paris. And then that 6th and final spot here at the World Championships for the quota allocation will be qualified in an unprecedented Olympic playoff for the 2024 Olympic Games. And so that occurs at 9 p.m. local time after the final matches.
Without further ado, it's time for the Nike Wrestling Move of the Day, presented by Nike Wrestling. For all the UWW Nike Wrestling merchandise, head on over to uwwstore.com. Let's take a look at it's Ismail MUSUKAEV and Taketo Otoguro.
Okay, in this amazing match in the round of 16, we do see an incredible 4-point takedown by MUSUKAEV. When we break down this action, we see MUSUKAEV come forward a little bit, lift his left hand. That gives Otoguro the opportunity to change his levels and attack. But in an otherworldly reaction and counter, we see MUSUKAEV change his level, drop to his left knee, and then pounce back into action. He puts his head perfectly on the right hip of Otoguro, cuts across for a big 4-point double to put the reigning Olympic champion right to his back for 4, and then we do see the on-mat official raise his hand and call the pin in the action as they go out of bounds and continue the action for the turn.
There was a little confusion there. After you do see Otoguro confused about what was happening in the match. He was holding his ankle, showing that his foot was hurt, but he did not know the referee called the fall. But if you look over to the left, it's clear as day. The fall was asked, the fall was confirmed. MUSUKAEV moves on. Let's move to the match of the day. It was Golej from Iran and Abdulrashid Sajalayev for the neutral athletes. This one was absolute fireworks. Golej almost took out Sajalayev, but let's walk through this.
And so in this match, we see an incredible back and forth by these 2 athletes. At 97 kilos, they're both dynamic, they're both powerful. We see Golej get an early lead on Sajalayev. He's up 4-2, and he's trying to hold off Sajalayev right at the very end. And this is why Sajalayev is one of the best in the business, the reigning king at 97 kilos, and he picks apart Golej at the end of the match, and then an onslaught of attacks that Golej continues to defend, and then he just doesn't have enough at the end, and Sajalayev overpowers him, puts him right to his back in the final seconds of the match.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. Golej, the closing matches has to be a key improvement for him moving forward. You talk about the 2021 World Championships in Oslo. He had Snyder on the ropes, gave up the last point with a few seconds left, and then here with Sajalayev gave up the takedown with short time left to lose. So he is one of those guys that are knocking on the door for a world and Olympic medal. We keep an eye on him. We're going to go directly into the upset of the day. Not only 1, but 2 for Akhmed TAZHUDINOV of Bahrain, taking out a pair of Olympic champions.
Well, this might be the story to watch, the storyline of the 2023 World Championships. We have this young wonder kid from Bahrain taking out not only a reigning world champion Kyle Snyder, but also reigning Olympic champion Sajalayev. And if you go look on the UWW Instagram, there is this really cute photo of TAZHUDINOV as a young 13-year-old 10 years ago as he attended the Sajalayev School of Wrestling in Dagestan. So an incredible storyline. And this athlete, TAZHUDINOV, he had an answer for every single attack. Not only did he beat Snyder, he technical superiority'd him. He took him down for 4 early on. He threw him in a 4-point body lock. He teched him at the end of that match. And kudos to Kyle Snyder. What an absolute legend. What a true sport. He looked stunned at the end of the match, but really took it well. And then in that semifinal match, we do see TAZHUDINOV have a fairly close match against Sajalayev, but pull away at the end. What incredible composure that he had. What incredible dynamicism that we see at 97. And I'm really looking forward to the finals. We will have a new king at 97 kilos, and who knows who it will be.
Yeah, he wrestled well beyond his year. Let's move to a storyline that people aren't talking about. We'll call it the sneaky storyline for Greece. Gorgios Koyomitsidis. I mean, this kid showed 7 matches he had here at the World Championships. He gets some great competition. You wrestle Kyle Dake, you wrestle Salkazanov, Baramov, and then to start things off, he beats Olympic silver medalist Kati Magomedov. Talk about that.
Just an incredible storyline. This is Koyomitsides' first time down at 74. He's reigning U23 world champion at 79, European champion 79 kilos, and so he's gone back down to the Olympic weight class of 74, and he had a performance. This kid is so dynamic. He's so dangerous from every position. He's able to just wrestle through positions, and he's got that long length, which has been a really big challenge, and that's what was the difference maker against Baraminov in that Olympic playoff spot. So like you said, he wrestled 7 matches over the last 2 days. Started off with a big win against the reigning silver medalist, takes out Salkazanov from Slovakia in one of the early stages of the match, and then he has such a close match against Kyle Dake in that semifinal. They were back and forth. He did score on Kyle Dake, as well did the other Japanese athlete, which is interesting. But again, this young guy, Koyomitsides from Greece, he earned his Cahoto spot. He was down 8-0 in that Olympic playoff spot, down against Turan Bayramov from Azerbaijan. But it was really interesting as we saw Bayramov walk out onto the mat, and that after the second round, he just looked tired. And you can imagine these athletes, they wrestled over 2 days. They weighed in at 8 a.m. that morning, and then they come back out at 9 p.m. It was 9:30 local time by the time they wrestled. They are just exhausted. But that didn't stop Koyomitsides. He left it all on the line. He clawed his way back out from an 8-point deficit, punched his ticket to the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, and this is a man you need to watch next summer.
Yeah, and real quick, that match with Baramov, you mentioned, he was down 8-0 and gets 2 cautions, short time left, an onslaught of attacks, continues to move forward. The pressure is what broke Baramov. Baramov ended up grabbing the singlet. The third caution came. Referees had no decision but to disqualify Baramov, pushing Koyomitsides into the Olympic Games. And before we move on from this, not sure where Grigorios Pilidis is at 65 kilos, but look at this Greek lineup. The potential that they have, if he comes back, would be Pilidis 65, Koyomitsides 74, and then Darren Krugaliev at 86. What about a 1-2-3 punch that is for the Greek freestyle team?
It could be an interesting storyline, and it does showcase the diversity and professional pedigree of these athletes across the European continent. Krugaliev is not here at 86 kilos because of an injury, but again, it could be really interesting when we think about who will qualify next summer in Paris.
Yeah, Krugaliev will be back. Of course, he did undergo knee surgery after the Budapest Ranking Series event, hurt his knee against Miles Amina in the finals. Speaking of finals, let's move to tonight's gold medal bouts, where you're going to see the first women's wrestling champions crowned at 55 kilos, where it'll be Haruna OKUNO of Japan, the 2-time world champion, taking on America's Jacarra Winchester, 2019 world champion as well. Moving to 59 kilos, it'll be ZHANG taking on world champion from 2014 from Ukraine, Yuliia Ostapchuk. And then we'll close things out on the freestyle portion of the competition with a gold medal bout at 65 kilos, where Ismail MUSUKAEV will take on Sebastian Rivera of Puerto Rico. And then at 97 kilos, it'll be Akhmed TAZHUDINOV of Bahrain, looking to become their first ever world champion, taking on Azerbaijan's world bronze medalist, Magomedkhan Magomedov. Erica, it's time for some picks. Are you ready for it?
I am ready, Eric.
Does this make you nervous every time we put you on the spot? But you've been doing great so far. Let's start at 55 kilos, where it'll be a pair of world champions meeting for gold. Are you going Japan's OKUNO or Jacarra Winchester?
Well, I think the betting odds may always be in favor of the Japanese women's athletes. They are unstoppable, although the Japanese men's freestyle team has had a great world championships. However, tonight we watched Jacarra Winchester from the USA go unbeaten. Yesterday, both of them are unbeaten, obviously, but Jacarra just looked unstoppable. She's got the length, she's a big 55-kilo wrestler, and I think she's gonna come on top against Haruna OKUNO in that 55 women's final.
Moving to 59 kilos, will it be TKACH Ostapchuk winning her second, or will ZHANG get her first?
Well, Yuliia TKACH in 2015 came back after having her first child to win her first world championship, and I think she's going to overcome ZHANG to win the 59-kilo gold medal.
And freestyle side of things, Ismail MUSUKAEV or Sebastian Rivera, who gets it done?
Whew. Now this will be one to watch. Both of these athletes are high-octane takedown wrestlers. They also both have the opportunity to make history as either Hungary or Puerto Rico's first world champion in freestyle men's wrestling, which is incredible. Now I think the odds are in favor of MUSUKAEV, and I'm going to be voting for him because he's one of my favorite wrestlers to watch. Watching his run at the 2019 World Championships in Kazakhstan was absolute craziness. He's got his signature move of putting his hands on his knees and then taking an attack. He's super unstoppable. He's so exciting to watch, and I think he's going to take it against Sebastian Rivera, and we saw the emotions on his face. This man has beaten everybody in this weight class, but he's never won a world championship, and so I think he's going to come out on top and he's going to take home the gold.
The 10th and final gold medal will come down to TAZHUDINOV or Magomedkhan Magomedov of Azerbaijan. What do you got there?
Well, again, we have seen just sheer brilliance from TAZHUDINOV. We've seen him take out reigning Olympic champion. We've seen him take out reigning world champion. And I think we're going to see him take home that gold medal for Bahrain.
And before we move on to the team standings, we'll take a look real quick at the 57 kilo Olympic quota spots. They went to Serbia, Japan, Albania, Armenia, and the neutral athletes. And then at 74 kilos, it was the neutral athletes, USA, Japan, Serbia, and Greece. Let's move to the team standings. The United States has locked up the team title heading into day 4, which is the final day here in freestyle wrestling, but they have 125 points. Iran is in second with 94, Kazakhstan in third with 70, Georgia in fourth with 65, and rounding out the top 5 is Japan. Biggest surprise there real quick?
I think the biggest surprise, I mean, the USA's locked it up in advance of day 3. They had an amazing day 1 with 4 athletes in the finals and 3 gold medals, and so what an incredible performance by Team USA. Iran coming in second. It'll be hard for them, but they do have some opportunities to take home some hardware today with Rahman Ahmadzad. He's in that, and then, you know, I think that Japan coming into 5th place, they have the opportunity to sneak in that top 3 with a strong performance from some of their athletes on this day, so let's see what happens.
And all the action you can follow live on UWW Plus starting at 1800 here in Belgrade. That'll do it for today's UWW Roundup show. She's been the Olympic champion, Erica Wiebe. I've been Eric Olenowski. Until 1800, we're going to say so long, wrestling fans.